Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are back to December 16th. Germans are still pretty much doing their surprise attacks to the Allies. Thank you very much for all your comments and your observations. Very helpful because I'm not going to play this game perfectly. So I appreciate you guys checking me, and I try to make the videos and then let the comments catch up before I make more videos. So on that note, we've got a few things to catch up on. 4, if I've counted correctly. 1, the very first battle, I forgot to take a hit. Now, when I play, I take... The rules say you're supposed to take attacker hits after defender hits, but when I play, I do the attacker hits first, simply because I know myself. By the time I get done applying the hits, doing the retreat, and doing the advance, I forget. So I'm probably going to do that from now on, take my hits first so that I don't forget. But just, you know, FYI, the attacker can take them second. Okay, then on the same subject, there was an infantry unit here, and I tried to take 2 hits on him. And you can't do that. They have to... what is this guy doing here? He was the old bridge, wasn't he? They have to be evenly spread. So somebody else in this battle would have... All right, I'm gonna flip this guy. Will be number 2. He doesn't have a bracketed side, which is great. So he still exerts a zone of control. So I am going to take it on him, but then I'm going to do it on him. So those are the 2 hits that I missed. The third thing is, and this is minor, I'm not going to change anything, but when I was looking at putting the roadblock here that turned into this unit, I had said that this city here, what is it, Dunkirk, was a possible candidate, but it couldn't get, wasn't in German communication, this hex. But it was pointed out that, you know, since communication is unlimited, we might have been able to trace communication. Now, it can't go through German towns. Okay, so, okay, I had to adjust the camera. Communication is an unlimited line of hexes. It's not like supply, which we haven't gotten into yet. And it can't go through enemy towns or cities or enemy zones of control. So this couldn't go this way. As I said, it couldn't also start going up this way because that's a zone of control. Couldn't go this way, but it could, unlimited line of hexes, come down here and around and go up and around and, you know, go, I guess, this way across because there's no enemy zones of control or cities. So my point is, this hex could have been a legitimate candidate for the roadblock, but I use that one. It's just as good and it's probably better for them anyway. So that was number 3. And the fourth thing I wanted to mention is not a mistake on my part, but just something that is not necessarily clear. It's not clear in the rules, and I don't think everybody in the community is aware. And that is a clarification by John Butterfield that Allied units, at least in the German solo game, Allied units that retreat twice in a combat and then are subsequently eliminated in that same combat do not leave a zone of retreat. Okay? So if this guy retreats 1, retreats 2, and then is killed in the same combat, he doesn't leave a retreat path. So up here, I think it was, this guy had pushed somebody back, and I said that he couldn't advance 2 because even though the unit was pushed back twice, you know, it was eliminated, it doesn't actually leave a path of retreat. I don't like that rule. I think it's overly fiddly. It's counterintuitive, but it's the rule, so it's what's in there. And you know what, that actually reminds me, this is item number 5 on catch up here. This is a bummer, but so my opening move was to swing this armor stack around up here into here so it can punch a hole, which it did, and it starts putting all kinds of supply concerns on. And, you know, I don't know what it was, but to me, that bridge just didn't count, you know. Well, that bridge does count. It is a bridge, and the German traffic jams rule is in effect and applies here. So I could not have on that reinforce. I brought him up with a reinforced battle action. Only one unit can go across a bridge in any activation. So I should have that stack should not have been allowed to do that, which is unfortunate because I'm an incurable outflanker. If I play you in a war game, I will outflank you. So as my first instinct was to bring this guy up here and outflank these guys, but turns out that was not a legal move. I'm going to go ahead and leave it because it'd just be too annoying to redo. And you know, let's be honest, this game's going to kick my butt anyway. Okay, I think that's all we have on catch-up, so we can go ahead and begin the German impulse. The last thing we did was I had built a bridge down here's abouts, I think, and the Allies turned the roadblock that they put out into a unit. And now we're continuing our day 16 impulse. So let me have a gander at my cards. Okay, lots of interesting choices, but I'm going to go ahead and get the first SS Panzer Corps moving because they've got a lot of punch and we need to start using it. I think what I'm going to do to sort of catch up to what I did illegally before to try to balance things. Normally at this point I would have this stack attack using an assault coordination combat card to include these guys and have 21 factors flanking this guy up here in this VP hex. So what I'll do is I'll pretend I will not activate him. I'll skip it. I'll pretend that kind of like I'm activating him now and bringing him up and doing this attack that he already did now. So I'm going to skip his activation, try to balance things out. And then I think I'm going to turn this into this. All right. I moved, this guy was here, he moved on to here. The other units have swung down here. This guy had enough movement points to go 1, 2, and hop in here for 4. And so now I'm going to do 2 separate attacks. These 3 guys are going to attack him. They're naturally flanking, and they have some elite units, and we have a lot of units, so I'm not going to add any combat cards to that. This one down here, I've got this stack, and I'm going to play both assault coordination, which allows all adjacent units to attack, so even that guy underneath who's not in the current activated formation is going to be able to join in the attack. And I'm also going to play infantry filtration, which says if you're attacking with at least 1 infantry or mechanized infantry, and we've got an infantry down there and he's mechanized infantry, then the attack can be considered flanked even if it's not. I told you I like the flanking. So that's what we're going to do. So when I add up all of these stacks, I get 20 to 3. All right. So for the moment, before I pull the Allied card, we are at 6 to 1 odds. And we've got 2 cards here. And I'm attacking with 5 units. So that's 5 pulls. Plus I have at least 1 elite. That's a 6th pull. And that other infantry down here who's joining the attack, you can see he's got, what, 4 dots? So he adds another pull. So what I say, 5 plus 1 for elite plus 1 for that big infantry is 7, 8, 9. So 9 pulls. Okay, there's a 9 on here somewhere. So now I've got to pull the Allied card and see what the heck happens. Okay, and as a reminder to myself, if I pull a card that activates the 106th Airborne, are they airborne? The 106th Division, 18 Corps, or 1st Army, then there will be an undetected defender. If not, it will just be the combat tactic. Okay, that's a 1st Army card, and therefore he's part of the 1st Army. This is going to pull in an undetected defender. So now let me refresh those rules. Okay, to be considered eligible for an undetected defender, the unit has to match at least one of those 3 formations that I mentioned. So We're looking for somebody from the 106th, or at least from the 18th Corps, or at least from the 1st Army. None of these guys apply. All right, this olivey color is the 3rd Army, so none of these guys will apply. However, it's not that easy, because now we have to look around the board for an undetected defender. And this is, you know, somebody we thought we knew their location, and it turns out that they had moved on us and we didn't know that they moved. An undetected defender can be the top guy in a stack of 3. That's not the case, so I'm not going to get into those rules. Otherwise, the more common way and unit can be considered out of contact is if it's in Allied communication, but no German unit is proximate to it, and removing it will not create a gap in the line. And a gap in the line is created by units and zones of control. So the Allies up here have a line of control, 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 and even here control, 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 control. So they have a solid line of control already. So when you start looking at these guys who are behind, removing them is not going to create a problem. Okay, so who are the guys who are not in, to whom an Allied unit is not proximate? Well, remember, zones of control are super sticky, so we can't just like move into here. Nobody can get into here because this is locked down with zone of control. So he is actually out of, is not proximate, and he's not proximate, and this other guy is not proximate. Right? Otherwise, and proximate to an enemy unit is just adjacent. Can you get adjacent to them? We are already adjacent to everyone on the board. This guy we're not adjacent, but we could get adjacent, so we're proximate to him, adjacent, adjacent, adjacent. So it's really just down to these 3. And so, and again, to be considered an out of contact, to be eligible for an undetected defender as an out of contact unit, it still has to meet one of those 3 formation elements: division, Corps, or Army. And unfortunately, these guys are also in the 1st Army, so they do qualify. If the only guys who were eligible, you know, were these guys down here in the 3rd Army, then there would be no undetected defender. But each of them are eligible and break ties by lowest unit. He's a 14, so I believe that... Is that guy going to leave a victory point hex? That doesn't seem right. Let me double check. I can't see a reason why he wouldn't. We're not proximate because this guy can't move into the zone of control. And he's the lowest numbered unit. So he's going to come over here and join his buddy. He's going to teleport in. Something about that kind of doesn't feel right, but says take lowest numbered unit. All right, I'm going to go with it. So now we are attacking 20-6, and our odds just got chopped in half. All right, so we're down to 3-to-1 odds with 9 pulls. Okay. There's a bunch of chits outside the cup. Going one at a time. 1, 2. Okay, well, nobody played air power, so that's if they hadn't put that guy in there on that card, they would have gotten the air power combat tactic, which would have been 2 hits. So I should probably be happy for that. All right, is the unit dispersed or unsupplied? No. Does he have a buddy, defender adjacent? Does he have a buddy next to him, I guess, to give him some moral support? The stack does not have anyone, so neither of these apply. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to go for all 9 of these things because I like to get that large attack bonus, and I just think in general you need a lot of pulls. So, all right, I got to pull one at a time because I might pull a blue. So 3, 4, 5. Yep, there it is. Hang on. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those came out at the same time. All right, let me see what we got. Okay, this is what I see. By pulling that undetected defender over, that's added a defeat a lender, an elite defender. So that's going to give us a hit. Otherwise, we've got 3 to 1, we've got 2 to 1, we've got an elite unit, and only we have combined arms. So we out battle them in that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 to us. Not bad at all. Right, I'll tell you what. I went ahead and flipped this infantry. I'm going to go ahead and take the one hit before I go do everything else, so that I don't forget again. All right. First of all, we know that one of the four hits is soaked up by the IP, so that goes away. So now there are 3 hits to deal with, and according to the process, there are fewer hits than steps, so I keep going. It says if losing a step would cause the defending unit to exert no zone of control, and I confirmed that that does mean the stack. So if, flipping one of these guys would not cause the stack to exert no zone of control because the other guy is still there with the zone of control. So if that that's not the case. So if not, calculate the hold chance. And the hold chance is going to be a die roll based on the position hex of 2, the number of steps. There's 4 steps in there, so we're at 6. And some other factors, none of which apply. And now I got to roll a die, and if the die result is equal to or fewer, I'm going to apply a loss. Otherwise, and then just going to hold. So this is seeing if they just want to take some casualties and hold, or if they're saying, "Now this isn't that important." So 6, yeah, equal to or less, apply a step loss. So they've decided that they want to hold this position. And hits go to the unit with the most steps, so protect the wounded, and then from there the highest selector number. So that's that little number down here. So the 11 is going to take it, okay, leaving the elite guy fully healed at the moment. Okay, I go back up and around the process, and I come back down to that same item C. If losing a step would cause the defending unit to exert no zone of control. And again, the answer is no, because if I flip this, there are going to be 2 bracketed units. A bracketed unit on its own does not exert zone of control, but 2 bracketed units do. So once again, the answer is no. If this guy takes a hit, it will not lose its zone of control, the entire stack. So then we're going to do another hold check, and this time I guess we're down to 5 because we're just at 2 plus 3. 9. Now they say, all right, this stuff is getting a little crazy in here. We're gonna bug out, and we're gonna retreat. So following the retreat priorities, the first priority is not to retreat into an enemy zone of control. So this and this are both out, and that leaves this and this. Now, interestingly, a unit will only retreat across an unbridged river, like we have here, or into forest, which we have here, if it's the last possible resort, and it is. So it's going to go across, and I think these two are roughly equal. So it says, it'll want to enter into a town or a city if possible. If not, follow the blue arrow. And and then it says if, and that's going this way, which we can't go. Then it says westernmost. So I think I'm going to go here, which is a little bit more westerly than this, and it's also closer to this than this hex. So I think that indicates this would be the unit's preferred retreat hex. Okay. Okay. I just had to pause and refresh myself on what's going to happen next, which is, all right, so let me recap. First hit was soaked up by the IP. Second, they stood their ground and took a hit. The third, they decided to retreat. So now the fourth, and we come down to the same point, which says if losing a step would cause a unit to lose its zone of control, same thing, it would not, because it would be two bracketed units. So then we go to D, which is a hold check. So the hold value of the hex, which is, I can't see, it's a 3. 3 plus 3 steps, so we've got 6. One of the modifiers is +2 if all attackers are across a river, which it looks like that's the case. But John Butterfield clarified on BGG that that should be modified to say +2 if the unit hasn't retreated yet and the attackers are across the river. So if the battle started here and he hadn't retreated yet, he would get a +2 to hold that position. At this point, they're not as interested in holding that position. So that +2 will not apply. And okay, so they are going to roll again, and an 8. I would have been happier with a step loss, to be honest. Crap. All right, so they're going to retreat, and I keep saying that if all things are equal, it's the retreat, it's the arrow. That's not necessarily the case. If all things are, I mean, they would prefer to go to a town or a city. Then, if all things are equal, follow the retreat hex. So, and also, they will only retreat into woods if there's no other. Oh, that's an interesting. Oh, you know what? That's an interesting point. And I was going the wrong way anyway. This guy's retreat is down this way, not this way. So these guys are going to retreat, and they're going to come across the bridge here and decide that that's where they want to be, which I can see why, because that's just even more annoying for us to try to get that bridge. It occurs to me that victory points in the game, you know, you lose victory points for every allied unit in a west wall hex. Where is that? Starting December 18th, you lose 5 VPs for each west wall hex that's owned by an allied unit. So, and I did see John Butterfield said that they put this in here so that we can't just zoom by everybody and just leave these guys and say, well, forget it, we don't have to worry about them. We do have to worry about them, because if they start occupying these hexes as -5 VPs, so yuck. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention was that, and I'm okay here, but I meant to mention it when I did this, because I moved only mechs up here. One of the day 16 exceptions is that non-mechs, you know, infantry can only move 1 hex, and that goes on throughout the entire day. You know, I will observe. I'm not complaining, but I will observe that you need the rules in this game for German Surprise and December 16th. All right, you need these rules. German traffic jams and all of this. There's there's exceptions for the first German impulse, and then there's exceptions for the entire day of December 16th. And you need them, right? Because those are thematic and they make perfect sense. They do make it a little bit extra, the learning curve extra steep into getting into the game, because you have to remember, oh, that's right. Like I want to sit here and move my infantry, but then I had to remind myself that I should probably put this up on the wall of charts to have in front of me. So anyway, I didn't break that rule. I only moved mechs. So that is one attack, just one exciting attack. Let's now do the next one. All right, over here we've got a stack of 2, 4, 6, and then another 11, 17, 19. 19 to 3 at the moment, okay? 19 to 3 at the moment, and I'm not, I'm gonna wipe this stuff away, I'm not going to play any combat cards on this one, although I could play one more. And I have 3, 6, 7 units who are attacking who are not bracketed. I've got at least one elite, and actually the elite guy is also a 3-step unit, so that's another pool. So 7, 8, 9 again, and I said, was it 19 to 3? So exactly where we started off the last one. 6 to 1 odds with 9 pulls before I pull the Allied Command card. Pardon the interruption. I realized, I just want to clarify this on camera. I realized that I had said that this was a 1st Army card. This is an 18th Airborne card, and that matched the Defender. That's what I meant to say. It's what my brain and my mouth are usually disconnected on camera, and I'll just say, until you do it yourself, you won't understand the phenomenon. Your brain can be thinking one thing, but your mouth somehow says another. So that was legitimate what I did. I just used the wrong reason why. It's because this Airborne Corps matched that. All right, so we're now pulling a Defender card for the same type of unit. So let's see what we got here. All right, so this is a 5-Corps card. All right, this 5-Corps does not match the 18th Corps, so this is not a match. So the Allies actually get a reinforced battle tactic. Oh, this should be interesting. Okay, so when I come over here, trying not to destroy the board with the camera, reinforced battle instructs us to find an Allied unit who is proximate to this battle, who could rush over and join. And it's this guy, okay? It's this guy right here. He's the only one. This guy can't move into a zone of control. He could break away for an extra movement point, this stack 1, 2, 3, but that's as far as he could get. Whereas this guy could go 1, 2, and hop into the hex. Now, that's kind of good for us because when you move, you lose your IP. So that guy is going to come over here and reinforce. Also, in a reinforced battle, I noticed, because it does say, it did cross my mind, is this guy going to, you know, possibly create a gap or leave a VP hex? And they won't. They will preserve the line and protect the VP hex. This is not a VP hex, so he's got no problem there. And moving from here to here does not affect the line, because the line still is here, zone of control, here, zone of control. He wasn't doing anything. And he gets to come in under the improved position marker. So we have the same situation we had before, which is 19 to 6. So now we're back to 3 to 1 and 9 pulls. And I need to pull 4, and it occurs to me on the last battle I only pulled 2 minimum, but I pulled the max 9, so no harm, no foul there. But really the minimum is 4, not 2. But like I said, I went to the max on the last battle, so that didn't affect anything. And I'm going to go to the max on this one as well. I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to want to go to 9. All right, pulling one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we get? Only attacker armor. That's good. 7 to 1, hardly. Flank attack, yes. I love that. 1 to 1, yeah. Is it in a city? No, it's in a town. But town is not on that shit. So, hey, we're off to a rousing start with our minimum 4 pulls. Yeah, let's pull another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is. I'm sorry. I should have applied this it's in broken, so that's going to apply. D-1 is going to apply. Woods Forest City clear, no. So this one is the one that doesn't apply. Broken will apply. I was looking at the wrong hex. Flank attack again. Large attack, yes. City town, no. Broken again, D-1. And 5-1, no. Ah, crap. Alright, well, between the IP and 2 D-1s, these 3 are going to get eaten up, leaving us with, well, an A1 hits us, but 2 hits onto them. So, again, keeping my method of giving myself the hit before I lose focus, I'm going to, I'm gonna take it on one of these. Where's my finger? One of these infantries up here. So let me reposition this. All right. So let's hit that guy. I don't want to hit the armor. Yeah. All right. So that was the one we took. This got soaked up by hit number 1. These other 2 D-1s soak up the other 2, leaving us with 2. So going through our priority list, we know that it's going to come down to what we had before, because the hits are not equal to or greater than the steps, so there's not going to be, step B is not going to apply, and step C is not going to apply because if one of them loses a step, the stack doesn't lose its zone of control. So hold chance. 2 plus steps is 6. We are not across a river. The units are not, I don't think any of these other ones apply. Okay, on 6, I roll a 7 actually, so they are going to take a hit. I'm sorry, they're going to retreat. So they're going to, instead of taking the hit, these guys are going to say, okay, fine, you want this so bad, we'll back up. They don't want to go into a zone of control. So no, by default, they're going to go here. All right, that's one of the 2. Now, I realize I missed this on the last attack. +2 if the defending units have already retreated, so I'll go back and do that in a sec. So same thing again, we're going to do a hold check because losing a step is not going to eliminate their zone of control. And I missed, they moved into a 3 this time, +4 is 7, and they've already retreated 1 hex, so a 9 or less, and they roll a 5, they will just make a stand and take a step loss, and it's going to be, if a unit with most steps or highest unit, so it's going to be the 14 is going to take 1. Okay. Let's go back and fix that other one. Okay, I have to laugh on myself because now I'm remembering to apply the hits to my units, but I'm forgetting to do advances just because I'm talking about something and then forgetting about what's supposed to happen next. So these guys are moving in here. I want to keep this stack here on the road. And up here, I'm going to move this stack in and keep this guy here, so I have the option to flank in there if I want. I think that works for me. And then the other thing is this guy here, I forgot to apply +2 for having retreated once when he was here and he took that hold check. So he had 3 + 3 steps is 6 +2 for having retreated once. So his check was an 8 and he actually rolled an 8. So they're actually going to stay in this hex. This guy's going to take the hit because they're holding rather than retreat across the bridge. So +2 for having retreated once. I was all caught up in the +2 from across the river not applying, but the +2 for having retreated once does apply. Okay, so then now I'm just gonna pick up the cards. That was 6 command points of command value points, which means our impulse is over. So now I've got to go ahead and give the allies a turn. Okay, so I pull this card here, and we start at the top and work our way down. Deploy all core reserves. There are no 5 core reserves eligible to be pulled into the game at this point. And then this one is a G, so German solo. Expedite core reserves. Okay, so every day on the calendar, you will have loaded your calendar like this. It's gonna just get messy. These are all the ones coming in on the 17th. All the ones for the 16th are already in the game. So Expedite says, look at the next day, and this is 5 core, and pull them in to the Allied Reserve box so that they could actually come into the game on the 16th by the pull of another one of those cards. So we've just, the Allies have just expedited some reserves. And that's all we have to do for that. Okay, a quick end of turn postscript. I feel pretty good about the moves I made for the AI, with the exception of that unit from Elzenburn teleporting down here as an undetected defender, but I couldn't find any rule that said undetected defenders will, protect a VP hex before teleporting. So he teleports down here, joins the battle, as far as I can tell. Was that this guy? Yeah. It was this guy with the number 5 selector. And then also relative to that hex, I fixed the hold check that they took there. They actually decided to stand their ground, so I pushed them back. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this, and actually I think I'm going to go right ahead and play the next impulse, trusting that there were no major goof ups here that I have to fix next time. So I'll see you soon.